Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Davey J Today. I'm your host, Davey J, and today we're going to be talking about something really cool. We're going to be talking about Scream Factory Blu-ray releases and pretty much exactly what I have in my collection at this time. Davey, 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 Davey. Today we're going to be talking about something that I hold very dear to my heart, and that is my Scream Factory, Shout Factory, Blu-ray horror collection. To tell you the truth, I haven't even done a full count of all these Blu-rays in my collection, but what you'll see for the most part is that I'm a huge slipcover nut, and you might be asking, what is a slipcover? Most people don't care about them, I've found, but I need to have a slipcover, especially when it comes to getting my Scream Factory Blu-rays here. And they just do beautiful commissioned art on them, and they just make them incredibly unique, and that's why I've just had a knack for collecting these gorgeous slipcovers, and you're going to see a bunch of them here today. I'm not going to spend too much time going over reviews of the films that I'm showing you or what they're about, because I don't think we have that much time. I have a lot of movies here, and I kind of just want to go ahead and show off that collection. Nightbreed. I actually got this one not too long ago. This movie stars Craig Sheffer, and if you've ever seen One Tree Hill, he's kind of like the brotherly kind of person of the mother on that show. I was kind of shocked because he was so young, and being in this movie where he had some prosthetics on, and it's just a really good kind of vampire-ish movie. It's interesting. Clive Barker wrote and directed this film, and it's kind of funny because whenever I think of Clive Barker, I almost always say Clive Owen, like the actor Clive Owen. Don't ask me why, but I always say it. Anyways, I'm just kind of going to throw him on the floor here, gently. The Strangers, 2008. This movie is one that I saw in theaters when it came out. Pretty cool, small cast, a home invasion film. I bought it a couple weeks ago, actually, and I watched it for the first time in almost 10 years, and very impressed. Poltergeist 3. Poltergeist 3 is kind of an outlier in the Poltergeist trilogy. Of course, I love the first Poltergeist. The second one's pretty good, too. But Poltergeist 3, it's okay. I haven't really even opened it. I've owned a copy of this before. I don't remember what I did with it. I think I gave it to somebody to borrow it, and I never got it back. Anyways, I went and bought a new one. This one is completely wrapped. Maybe I'll do an unboxing later. When in doubt, drag me to hell, right? No, nobody says that. Drag Me to Hell, very scary movie. Written for Alison Lohman, and Sam Raimi casted Alison Lohman thinking she'd be perfect for this part, and of course she was. Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi are brothers, and they wrote this movie together, and Sam Raimi, of course, Evil Dead. Come on now. This is from the mind that brought you Evil Dead. How could you not love this movie? If you haven't seen it, see it. Now we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. I love the cover art here. Dennis Hopper in this one. Lots of good special features. That's another thing. Scream Factory, the best special features. They also usually have multiple cuts of the film. Who's going to put out a 2K scan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? That's why we like Shout Factory, because this one is called Tales from the Hood, and if you've seen Tales from the Hood before, then you know there's some pretty good acting in here. We got David Alan Grier. He's super funny. If you haven't seen Tales from the Hood, check it out. You're not going to regret it. Night of the Creeps. I bought this movie as a blind buy on eBay, and I watched it for the first time. You got Tom Atkins in here. So funny. Epic performance, and this is one of those movies that probably wouldn't have gotten a really high quality release if it wasn't for Scream Factory. So thanks, Scream Factory. Valentine is a movie that I got at Best Buy, of all places. Can you guess what time of the year I got it in? February, right? Valentine's Day. Sorry, somebody's mowing the lawn outside, so if you can hear the lawnmower, I'm so sorry. This microphone is really good, and it picks up a lot of the sound around me, so it picks up everything. So I hope you don't hear the lawnmower. Apologies if the lawnmower is in there. I'll do my best in post trying to get rid of that sound. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I watched this movie for the first time with my aunt, probably in the early 90s. She actually copied or recorded this from HBO, and I used to watch this in my aunt's basement and get terrified. Ugh, the pod people, right? Check it out. My Bloody Valentine, honestly, I put this movie on and I didn't really watch it, but I heard really good things about it, so I'll have to check it out soon. Phantom of the Paradise is kind of like a horror musical, I guess you would call it. Look at this really cool cover art. How could you not absolutely love this cover art? If you saw this movie on a shelf at Target or something, which you'd never see, but if you saw it on a shelf at a store, you'd have to get this movie because, I mean, come on. Look at this cover art. So cool. This is a John Carpenter classic, Assault on Precinct 13. I know they remade this movie, and I never saw the remake, but I'm guessing it's not half as good as this classic film. If you haven't seen it yet, see it. April Fool's Day, really good movie, kind of one of those Friday the 13th, Halloween, mid-80s kind of remakes. You know, they kind of took the idea of that killer, whodunit killer, and they ran with it. And there's a bunch of movies in the 80s just like this, of course, named after a holiday. So Friday the 13th, April Fool's Day, they go together like peas and carrots, right? See it if you haven't seen it. Also, Biff Tannen is in this movie. Check it out. This is Escape from LA, and you know what? The first time I saw this movie, which was only like maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I kept on expecting Escape from New York, and really they're just two different films. And John Carpenter at a different time in his career. Kurt Russell is fantastic in this, and there's a lot of questionable CG in here that kind of took me out of it a little bit, but on the second watch, I really enjoyed this movie, so check it out, Escape from LA. You'll probably like it. The John Waters classic, Serial Mom, starring Kathleen Turner. This movie is hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. Matthew Lillard is in this. I believe it's his first film role, if I remember correctly. Check it out. Squirm. This is a great movie. Rick Baker on the effects. I believe it's about worms, if I remember correctly. And, you know, critters that roam around and kind of just roll around in the soil. Ugh. Squirm. It's giving me, like, shivers just thinking about it. Ugh. Check out Squirm. You'll like it. The Blob. Classic remake. And whenever I think of The Blob, I, of course, think of Frank Darabont. And Frank Darabont is the person that, of course, wrote and directed The Shawshank Redemption. And he also developed The Walking Dead and brought it to AMC. And he doesn't get a lot of credit for that because of the lawsuit and stuff and how he was fired. And that's a whole nother can of worms, right? We were just looking at Squirm, right? So that's appropriate. Yeah, Frank Darabont, what a genius. Check out The Blob. It's one of the better remakes. Motel Hell. Here's a motel that I wouldn't mind staying at. Just kidding. This is really crazy. I love the commissioned artwork on the slipcover. If you haven't seen this movie, check it out. I think you'll really like it. Actually, one of those horror comedies, so kind of like a dark comedy. Big Trouble in Little China. I'm telling you, when John Carpenter and Kurt Russell get together and work together, it's always an amazing treat. This is a movie that you have to see. It's funny, it's action-packed. What an adventure. Check it out. Day of the Dead. Let's talk about Day of the Dead. I love the commissioned artwork here. I must say, though, I do like the original one-sheet poster. That's able to be displayed. Once you take this out of the slipcover, you can do the reversible cover art. This is in a protective plastic sleeve. Oh, by the way, I'll go ahead and leave a link below for these poly plastic sleeves that fit these Scream Factory releases in case you guys want to pick up some for yourself. They really help protect it, and then it's really easy to kind of take them out and rewatch them, and also protect the sleeve whenever you want to watch them again. So, Day of the Dead, George Romero, rest in peace. George Romero's other classic, Land of the Dead. I love this movie. Some people kind of say that this isn't that good, and I would have to go ahead and disagree with them. I really like this movie, and I really like the commissioned artwork as well. Prison. Saw this movie once. Really enjoyed it. Gonna have to watch it again soon. I really like the cover art. Check it out. Viggo Mortensen is in this. Check it out. I just bought King Kong, and I've never seen it before. Don't laugh at me. 1976, the Dino De Laurentiis remake of a classic. Check it out. It's really good. And of course, Jessica Lange is in this. Absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Jeff Bridges is also in this. He is super young. Check it out. The Exorcist Two the Heretic. If you haven't seen this movie, you're not really missing too much. I didn't really enjoy this. I love Linda Blair and I love the Exorcist series, but honestly, I think they dropped the ball on this one. Cyborg, the Collector's Series. I believe this is one of the only Collector's Series Scream Factory releases where I've actually been missing the slipcover. It's got to be the only Scream Factory release where Jean-Claude Van Damme is in it, and it's just weird that there's a Scream Factory release with Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's like having a Scream Factory release with Jackie Chan or something like that. It's just weird to see such a martial arts expert be in a Scream Factory release when Scream Factory is primarily horror films. Death Becomes Her. I saw this probably in the early 90s when it came out, and I totally didn't understand it then. It's pretty wild. It's a good watch, but honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this movie anymore. I liked it when I was younger, and I tried watching it again, and it's just not my thing, really. But Bruce Willis is in it. Halloween 3. Come on, people. This is Halloween 3. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know what you're doing. When this movie first came out, people hated it because you know who wasn't in it, right? Michael Myers was not in it. And the tagline was, "The night no one came home." So it's like, this is a Halloween movie. Where's Michael Myers? Check out Halloween 3. Tom Atkins is in this. He is awesome. I've met him before. Really cool guy. Actually, I'll insert that picture right now. Check it out. It makes me look really cool just to show you that I met Tom Atkins, even though he probably never would remember me. Psycho 2. A lot of people love this movie. It's so different from the original Psycho, but Anthony Perkins is just a gem. How do you follow such a classic? Psycho 2 does a really good job at following the classic release from Albert Hitchcock while keeping it in the same vein. And I think this movie's fantastic. I own it almost on every single format. I have the Laserdisc, I have the CED, I have the VHS, I have the DVD, and I even have the Scream Factory release. Don't ask me how or why, but any format. I think I have the digital release too. Shh, don't tell anybody. And Psycho 3. I also like this movie. Anything that Anthony Perkins is in is fantastic. He is just amazing. Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox, amazing actor. Everything he touches is gold. Come on, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you're doing. Teen Wolf 2, starring Jason Bateman. What can I say? They tried, right? They were like, let's take Teen Wolf to college. They tried. It's okay. It kind of gets a little long-winded. The only way to find out for sure is if you see it yourself. Jeepers Creepers, starring Justin Long. I love this movie. It's very creepy. Good use of darks and lights and great shots. And they made another really good big bad monster to go with Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. Of course, people are going to hear me say this now, and they're like, how do you compare the Creeper to Freddy Krueger? Come on, the Creeper is awesome. He's no Freddy Krueger, but still. Jeepers Creepers Part 2. I don't know if they needed to do this, but I remember really enjoying this when I was young, so when I got it about 3 or 4 years ago, I've seen this movie probably 50 times. I love this movie. It's a really good sequel that stands up to the original, to be honest with you. The Return of the Living Dead. This movie is really good. It's actually super funny. Definitely a dark comedy in no relation to Night of the Living Dead. Actually, there was a huge lawsuit that settled that. James Cameron's in this. Fantastic. He just passed away, so rest in peace, James Cameron. The Return of the Living Dead Part 2. I love this movie. Love the commission art. Check it out. Not the greatest sequel in the world, but definitely a worthy watch. Now, I don't want to be too cheesy, but Thank you so much for watching. Obviously, if you're still watching this video, you're seeing something that you liked. So please go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, share if you really liked it, and stay tuned because we will be diving into part 2 of my Scream Factory Blu-ray collection coming up shortly. This is just part 1. I couldn't fit it into one video. So please stay tuned, keep watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video.